Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live. And we're back live from the home studio, too. I can't tell you how happy I am to be here. But the crazy part is, guys, I'm literally here for another, about 20 hours. And then I got to turn around. I'm going back to Portland. Fun stuff, guys. Fun stuff. But we're not here to talk about that. What we're here to talk about is Manchester United beating Watford 2-1. And today I am joined by the one, the only Matthew McFadden. Matthew, how you doing, mate?
Very mixed emotions, if I'm honest. You know, the game itself is a pretty poor game. But you know what? At least we got the win, so we are therefore out in 2019. So you can't really complain too much.
Yeah, I mean, we win. It's a game coming off the international break. I mean, honestly, it's games after the international break are always weird because you don't know who's going to turn up and what's going to turn up, right? And yes, this is the Matthew McFadden That Night in Paris poster, people. It's here.
Boy.
It's here. And I also got another poster that's right back there that will make a debut relatively soon. It's one that you guys voted for. So just so you know, we've got another one. Superboy, good to see you. Rory, good to see you. Sabin, Pancash, Mad Marcus, Mo, good to see y'all. Hope you guys are having a good day. I mean, it's kind of hard to have a bad day after Manchester United win. So, I mean, Matthew, I'm going to jump into these stats here for a second because, honestly, the very first stat surprises me. For the game that we just watched, a few hours ago, I did not expect to see this. Manchester United owned the possession 51.5 to 48.5. It certainly didn't feel like that, did it?
No, not at all. I think Watford were a bit more efficient with their possession. Like, especially in the first 15 minutes, they just looked like Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
But that was just how it was. We couldn't pass to save our lives.
That, and then also the goal that they scored was very much so Barcelona-esque.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They had another chance where it was a nice bit of play as well. It was like, this is actually what the Champions League next round is going to be. Not, a home game against Watford.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about, isn't it? Like, we play Wolves on Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
And then next week we play Barcelona. Like, I can tell you this right now, if we play this way against Barcelona, we're going to get our asses kicked. Like, 100% we're going to get our asses kicked. And Matthew, I know you agree.
Oh, yeah. Nah, like, the performance today, it wasn't a good one. But right now, the most important thing is 3 points, even though ideally we would have saw something better. But yeah, if we play like that against Barcelona, a much more efficient side, then it's not going to be a good time.
No, you're absolutely right. It's not going to be a good time. And Mo, you're absolutely right. We do need to give credit where credit is due. Watford played well today, and I even said it in the preview that Watford were going to give us problems. Do not mistake that. Watford were always going to give us problems. They're not just some side that is an easy side to go in and just beat without a thought. But we went in to Old Trafford. We went in with confidence. Even though we didn't have our best game, we still won it. And let me tell you what. So Superboy said Luke Shaw was excellent. Matthew and a couple other people and we all watched the game together through Skype. Definitely legally. We watched it legally. And let me tell you what, that pass from Luke Shaw was absolutely phenomenal for that first goal. I mean, we all had the same reaction, Matthew. Like, it was just that was one of those goals that you're just like, or one of those passes that, like, that's what you dream of in FIFA, to literally put it right into the path, around the defender, into Marcus Rashford, and then Marcus just chips it over the keeper. It could not have been drawn up any better.
It was like a pass that you'd see from, like, Ryan Giggs on that side, or like David Beckham or Paul Pogba, or like Scholes, for example. It was just the most accurate pass that I've seen probably this season.
Yeah.
And the fact that it came from Luke Shaw, who we've rightly so criticised him so much when it comes to attacking and his decision making when attacking. It's actually even better to see because other players just didn't really step up. They actually had that kind of source of creativity from deep, from left back. So, that goal I think is probably the most important one because it wasn't necessarily against the run of play, but it just gave us that little extra bit of security to kind of go on and get one or two more goals. But it made it hard for ourselves as per usual. But no, that pass was just something else.
Oh, it really was, Matthew. It really was. And John, you're absolutely right. John said we didn't play well today, but at least it was 3 important points. Couldn't agree more with that, man. Literally couldn't agree more. The fact that we did not play our best game coming off an international break, something that happens frequently to big teams. That they come back from the international break, all their players went on international break. And now, granted, a lot of our players got injured. And, they all wound up coming back, which I think that rest, you could, and Matthew, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but you could see today that Marcus was making runs that he wasn't making a couple of weeks ago. I mean, do you think that him coming back from the international break early did him well?
Yeah, it was kind of that, so-called injury when it wasn't really an injury, let's face it. But, yeah, I think with Rashford, the second half, he wasn't good. But the first half, we just saw him make so many runs, and again, that was probably the bright spark in that first half, and the reason why we actually got a goal.
Oh, absolutely. Real quick, I was reading a comment here. Well, listen. So Superboy saying Ransom Band saying Shaw can't cross. Listen, ultimately, I actually agree with that because I watched Shaw a few times today really struggle with the cross. And granted, Ashley Young can't cross either. I'll take Luke Shaw crossing over Ashley Young crossing all day long. Because I can't, I mean, Matthew, how many times were we just like, oh, come on, Ashley, like with crosses today? And it's not just today. It's every game. It's every game.
But no, like with Ashley Young, there was so many times that it was either you, Ash, or Paul that were just screaming at TV like, "What are you doing, Ashley?" Every single time. Like positionally, he was just awful as well. I think that was the most annoying thing.
Like defensively, he was bad too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was just a shame because the rest of the back four were actually really good today. I mean, made them stand out even more.
Yeah. And Pancas, you're absolutely right. Shaw basically has no legs, or Young has no legs. And then Mo said, not just crossing, but passing forward from the back. Shaw is excellent with the ball. And Mo, I listen. I really like Luke Shaw. I disagree, and it's okay to disagree with people. I actually think that Luke Shaw is still a work in progress at that left back spot. I think that he has the potential to be the best left back in England. I think that he's got that potential. Now, he's not there yet, but he has the potential to be on that level. He is great defensively. No one can deny that. Yeah, guess what? Every defender is going to get beat at times. It happens. We saw Van Dijk get beat on international break pretty easily too. It happens. But what I'm seeing Luke Shaw do every single week is I'm seeing him improve in his offensive positioning. And when he's getting further up the pitch, I'm watching him start to do better and better. There was that bit of play in that very early part, Matthew. I'm sure you remember it, where Martial picked it up around like the left side of the 18-yard box, and then he passed it into Luke when he made that run. That's what we want to see from Luke Shaw. Like,
I mean, it was a shame about the absolutely non-existent final ball. Like that's the thing that I criticise Luke Shaw most. But yeah, that kind of combination between Martial and Luke Shaw, even though that was probably the only time we actually really saw that game, it's actually still good to see though.
No, absolutely. It was phenomenal to see. And Jay Hart, good to see you. Did you just got home? Did you go out for the game today, Jay Hart? Were you there? I know you're from Germany, but were you there? Because if you were there, we got a whole nother conversation to have. Then, Matthew, I got a few more stats to read out for you. So we only had 8 total shots today. They're 20, with 5 of those being on target to their 8. I mean, like we were saying, Watford really did. It felt like they owned every bit of this game. But ultimately, the quality that we had was greater than what they could produce.
Yeah, I just think the quality of players actually, it didn't really shine whatsoever because, again, it was a terrible performance, but it was just the fact that we had better finishes and they didn't. That was the only thing that we were really better at in the day.
I mean, yeah.
But, at home against Watford, Watford are 8th, but the Watford, they're not, Man City or whatever, should be having more than 8 shots.
No,
should be having about 15 shots, like double that pretty much.
And I completely agree, Matthew. And I will say this. It did feel like when we were hitting on the counter that we were dangerous on the counter. But ultimately, I felt like there was a lot of times where we just saw our passing really let us down today. We talked about it a lot while we were all watching it together. Our passing just was not there today. And no greater example of that today than Ander Herrera, who I felt like every single time he passed the ball, he just gave it away. Listen, we love Ander Herrera on this show, but we also call out bad performances when we see them. And Ander Herrera did not have a good game today.
It's not fickle to say that someone had a bad game. Like, it's fickle to say, oh, you sell Herrera now because he's a terrible player after one bad game, but you're allowed to say someone had a bad game when he had a bad game. If you can't say that, then you can't really give a fair, assessment on a player. But it was probably Herrera's worst game under Ole.
Oh, easily.
I mean, not probably, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
I thought he was just absolutely awful, especially in that first 15 minutes where, to be fair, the whole team were giving away the ball, but a lot of the play was going through Herrera. And every single time, it wasn't even like, you could see where he was making the passes and you could see what he was trying to do. They were just brainless, blind passes into nowhere he was making, and he didn't seem like Herrera today. He was completely lacking of everything that was.
Whoa!
What's that?
Like all of a sudden, you just went all sorts of staticky. Yikes! There we go. You're back.
Right, good. But yeah, it was like, all the qualities that Herrera has and that we actually like him for. I think one of those just wasn't there. There wasn't any real tenacity. There wasn't any good passing. There wasn't any, proper work rate. I just thought he was there, obviously, to make up numbers. He just didn't do much.
And he really didn't. And like you said, we have to call out bad performances where we saw them. Superboy, just so you know, believe me, we'll never forget that Mourinho did want to sell Shaw for Danny Rose. We'll never forget that. Ultimately, I mean, we'll see. We've still got time to see how Luke Shaw's going to do because he did sign a new contract. And then Jay Hart said Matthew went WWE mad. Yeah, that's an old school reference, Jay Hart. That's a really old school reference. And guys, there is the rumors floating around that Ander Herrera is off to PSG. We'll see. But ultimately, Ander doesn't seem like the type of guy that would just drop his performances just to not injure himself for his next team. That just doesn't seem like the type of guy that Ander Herrera is. That
seems like the opposite of that, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Jay Hart, you're not that old. I mean, you're not like old, like 30, like I'm going to be next year. But I know, right? I'm just getting old over here. So, and then Superboy, just so you know, we're actually not going to talk about like transfers and stuff like that. I don't feel like that's the appropriate time to talk about it right now. But we'll definitely do some, like at the end of the season, we'll do some transfer talk and do some dream signings and stuff like that. So we'll talk about that another day. But Matthew, so I'll give you the rest of the stats. So we had 621 touches to their 588, 430 passes to their 397, 18 tackles to their 13. We had 37 clearances to their 15, which that says a lot. 3 corners to their 5, and we had 4 offsides to their 3. So, I mean, Matthew, out of the rest of those stats, besides the possession and the shots, was there anything that really stood out to you from those?
I wouldn't say it was anything really surprising, but in terms of what really told the story of the game, the clearances. What was it, 37 to 15 or something around that?
37 to 15, yep.
Yeah, I feel like stats don't really tell much about a game. They can be kind of misleading, but that, I mean, just tells the full story. Like, we're just put under so much pressure from Watford, and I can imagine at least, probably about 10 of those clearances were made in the first 15 minutes. Again, because they were just all over us for that period, and we were thinking, what are we actually doing here? Like, there's no intensity, there's no vision, there's no forward runs, there's nothing. But yeah, Watford, to be fair to them, probably deserved at the bare minimum a draw.
Oh, I don't disagree at all. Like, they played a phenomenal game today.
Oh yeah.
Like,
sometimes they kind of lacked the shot in the final ball, but apart from that, they would have way better.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and so Mo just said we missed the Iceman. So believe it or not, I mean, Mo, I do think we missed Victor Lindelof today, but at the same time, Phil Jones stepped up in a big way. And in the first half, we made a lot of comments while watching it about what a game Phil Jones had. So, I mean, Matthew, you know what? Let's go ahead and jump into our ratings for players, because I think that's going to be the best way to talk about these individual players. Sophie, good to see you got home safe. That's really great. And then 3 points is what matters at the end of the day. Am I right that United need a better center, a CDM than Matic? Matic often passes back or sideways. So, Charlie, you are absolutely right on that. I do think that we do need a new CDM. And I don't think very many people will disagree with you. Matic at this point, in my opinion, either should go or he should just be a backup, one or the other. But, Matthew, let's go ahead. Let's jump into our ratings. De Gea, thought he had a really good game today overall. The goal that went in, I mean, I don't really put it on to him. That was just some great play from Watford. How are you going to rate David De Gea today? And guys, also, if you want to have your ratings read out, get them in the live comments, and I will read out your match ratings for people.
I'd probably give David De Gea 7 out of 10. Don't really think there's any, major outstanding saves. There was that one time where I think, was it Watford crossed it in from the right-hand side, and then I don't know who headed it, but I noticed the Curry that was running forwards.
It was Deeney. Deeney headed it.
It was probably Deeney who knocked it down pretty much exactly like I predicted on the podcast a couple of days ago. As to how Watford would actually score, because it was so predictable. But yeah, De Gea just came out and made a pretty good save. I know it wasn't going in, but still a good save nonetheless, and probably actually stopped the Watford goal. So for that, 7 out of 10 for me.
And I'm sorry, Matthew.
That much to do because Watford dominated us, but at the same time, there wasn't really any major noteworthy saves. He just sort of did what was expected of him.
Yeah, I agree with you, Matthew. I think that De Gea today, it's not that he had to make any super saves, but he did what De Gea does, and that's he makes the saves when needed. And there's a lot of times where he makes saves, and there was a shot that was going for the lower left-hand corner that I remember saying that's a good save, but ultimately he made it look so easy because we talk about it so often. De Gea's positioning is second to none as a goalkeeper. He always knows how to be in the right position when the ball is in a certain area. And that makes so many of his saves that other people might be having to make, quote unquote, world-class saves. But De Gea makes it look easy because of where he's positioned. So, I mean, obviously in the last game that we talked about, De Gea didn't have the greatest of games, but I'm going to give De Gea a 7 out of 10 as well. I think it's a very fair rating for him. And, like we said, the goal was not his fault. Not at all. Like, I'm sorry, you get a shot. A guy gets a shot from that close. He can literally pick where he wants to put it. And that's exactly what Decore did, is he just put it where he wanted it. So let's go ahead. Let's jump into your guys' ratings. So Saban said De Gea 7. Pancast said De Gea 7. Mo said De Gea 6. Superboy said De Gea 7. Charlie said De Gea 7. De Gea's from the future. He just knows where the ball will go. I mean, Jay Hart, I wouldn't put it past him. De Gea certainly does look like Superman, doesn't he? But yeah, I love David De Gea. I mean, that might be the next Matthew McFadden poster I have to get. We're out here in 2019 talking about Matthew McFadden posters and David De Gea. So, I mean, what else do we do? We don't really do anything else besides talk about Lee Grant being the greatest keeper in the world. I mean,
I'll tell you what, if Lee Grant was in goal, would have been about 5-0.
Oh, it would have been 10-0 because he would have been punching balls out in clearances and scoring them from the other end. Facts.
I'm just putting that in my head. A corner just comes out and Lee Grant absolutely yeets the ball from his own box. And it just finds in the top corner. You just love to see that.
Oh, it guaranteed. Guaranteed it would happen, Matthew. I forgot Lee Grant. We never forget about Lee Grant on this show. And most said one punch Grant. Yeah, no, it's exactly what he does. He is the world's greatest keeper, and the fact that he isn't starting for Manchester United is absolutely abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. De Gea is a bum.
He's going to be starting the season when he goes. I'm bracing myself for that moment. It's not going to be a good one.
Listen, we have to prepare ourselves. I think he's retiring at the end of the year. And then John Seth did say De Gea 7. So let's go ahead. Let's move on. Let's go ahead and talk about George Kyle's favorite player ever. We're going to talk about Ashley Young. We kind of already started talking about him, but Matthew, how are you going to rate him?
I don't know if he stood out so much because he was so bad, or he stood out so much because the rest of the defence was so good. But he was really that trailing member in the back four. I think if he put in a decent performance, I think Watford wouldn't have so many chances. Again, they always do it. Every opposition does it. They target the right-hand side.
Yep.
Because they know, it's either going to be Mata, who don't even get me started in him, as a right winger, of course, or someone like Lingard, who, his defensive contribution's okay, but he's not a proper winger as such. He's not really going to stay wide, especially when defending. And then you've got Ashley Young behind him. Like, that's a, championship at best level, right-hand side in terms of defending. So teams always seem to target our right-hand side, and it always seems to work. I don't really think, Delo's a decent player, but from a starting right back, not really that great defensively. But yeah, Young, again, like always, was just exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly exposed by, I've forgotten who the left back was. I saw it was Messina who was on for a bit. I'm not sure if he came on as a sub or whatever, but every single time Watford just went down the left-hand side, there was a good few times where, we're all just thinking, what are you doing, Ashley? On that right, you're into your own box, basically playing as a right-sided centre-back, pretty much playing everyone on side. Positional sense is absolutely awful. It just showed again today. So Ashley Young for me gets 4 because they offer nothing. His passing as well was just simply abysmal. So 4 out of 10 at best.
Yeah, and Matthew, I was debating on being really harsh with him and kind of going below a 4, but being realistic, I mean, we gave up only 1 goal today. He still did a couple of things okay. Like, and when we win, I have to try and be positive. Jay Hart said Young wouldn't even get in the United Stand team. Listen, that's just because we've already got great right backs on the United Stand team. I mean, facts.
I've had Matt Marcus as a right back.
Yeah.
Get him in. He'll play for cheap wages.
Yeah.
He's experienced as well, so perfect candidate.
I mean, listen, we can do what we can to try and help out Manchester United. We always try and do it. But guys, I'm going to try my best to be as positive as possible after the result today. We won, and that's what ultimately matters at the end of the day. All the team played well enough to win. So for me, Ashley Young, I'm going to give him a 4. I get that that's probably generous for some people, and it might be a little too harsh for some people, but his crossing always leaves so much to be desired because his crosses always look great. But in terms of accuracy, they are never accurate. Like, I could think of maybe 2 times this season where Ashley Young has put in a cross where it was a truly dangerous ball. And that just says a lot because of how much great right back you'll see very soon.
I remember the last time he actually put in a good cross.
I mean, Matthew, I think that it was towards the beginning of Ollie's tenure that is the last time I remember Ashley Young putting in a good, threatening cross. That's a long time to go without putting a good, threatening cross, especially from a starting right back for Manchester United. So I'm finally setting up this Elgato thing. I mean, Marcus. I mean, if you are the best right back, I mean, we're going to need you. We're going to need you at Manchester United really soon. Guarantees. I mean, will you take less money than Ashley Young? Just curious. I have to ask the question. Your dad, good to see you. Matthew, I love that. Pay Marcus in bacons and coffees. He'll gladly sign a 5-year contract. I actually have heard that's true. I have. In fairness, I would probably do it for 3 strips of bacon, and $500.
$500 a week.
No. $500, like just in general.
Fair enough then.
I mean,
someone's got high demands.
I mean, listen. If we were talking about the red-bearded Red signing for Manchester United, I need a minimum of $10K a week. But if we're just talking about Andrew Southwick, I mean, that's a different story. That's only $500.
Yeah, no one cares about Andrew Southwick.
No, we know, Matthew.
Like,
I'm there, but I'll play for 4 iced drink donuts. Well, let's be real too, Matthew. I doubt I'd get into Ollie's side. I mean, Mourinho's side, almost guaranteed though. But Matthew, let's go ahead. Let's move on. We have to move on here. Chris Smalling. I mean, in reality, our center back pairing today did pretty well, if you ask my opinion. But we said it multiple times. Chris Smalling is so screwed when VAR is instituted next year.
Oh yeah, I mean, he may as well retire.
Like, he is so screwed. But and we actually did talk about the fact while we were all watching the match together that it is kind of sad to see how aware Chris Smalling and Phil Jones are of their position in terms of the fans at Manchester United. It is actually really sad to see. But Matthew, how are you going to rate Chris Smalling today? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even give my rating for Ashley Young. I mean, I didn't read out your guys' ratings for Ashley Young.
I think you gave him
So I saw a 1 from Pankaz, 3 from Saban, 5 from Superboy, 6 from Charlie. Mo said 5. John Seth said Young 4. He only gets playing time because of who he is, not his performances. John, I 100% agree with that. I know you put a little bit more in there, but I want to try and get moving on. So Chris Smalling, Matthew, how do you rate Chris Smalling?
Chris Smalling, but like you said, I think he knows what he is in terms of the squad and how the fans rate and stuff, which to be fair is fine. But yeah, today, again, it was just another solid performance. Like you've seen it from so often recently, especially when playing against Lindelof. You know, when I looked at the team years and I didn't see Lindelof playing, obviously because he's just had a child. And when I saw the Chuckle Brothers starting, I thought, great. This isn't going to work out. And you know what, actually, to kind of sidetrack, what does that say about Eric Bailly?
Yeah.
He's fit. He's just scored playing for Ivory Coast, and he can't even get in the team ahead of Marcus Rojo, who I'm sure has a hospital made for him at this rate.
Yeah.
So Chris Smalling himself, to be fair, actually did quite well. Were a few issues with him, pulling people's shirts, and as long as he knows that he has to take that completely out of his game come next season, then that should be fine. But I doubt he'll do that. But yeah, today I thought he was good. Just another solid game, really. So 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I listen. It was a solid game from both him and Phil Jones. I feel like Smalling was above average today. Now, granted, we also really didn't see him play many balls today. I kind of noticed that like, other than like passing around the back line, I didn't really notice him playing the ball much. But I'll give Chris Smalling a 7 as well today, Matthew. I think that him playing as well as he has been, it means a lot for us as Manchester United fans to see somebody like Chris Smalling giving his all every single game. And we could see that. But like we said, he is so screwed next year when VAR gets instituted. It's sad, too, because I actually am one of the people, I don't mind Chris Smalling, and I actually like the guy. He brings a bit of humor in, and I do like that. But let's go ahead. Let's see how you guys rate Chris Smalling today. So Saban said Smalling is an 8 for him. Penka said Smalling 7. He was decent. Mo said Smaldini 7. Great defensively, crap with the ball. Yeah, that's pretty much Chris Smalling in a nutshell. Charlie said Smalling 7.5, strong and versatile. So Charlie did say that Bay got a head injury with the Ivory Coast, Matthew. So that's interesting.
I didn't even see a tweet about it. Don't know if it's that, then fair dues.
Oh yeah, so Jay Hart, yeah, the Christian Police, it's the OG poster is down. Unfortunately, we have to let go of dreams sometimes, and the poster will go back up when it's.
I think that's the ever poster I ever gave to someone as well.
Yep, it was. It was
the poster I gave to Patrick Roberts. So Andrew or Man City player.
I think that I win. Because I really do think that you did give me the poster first, because I remember you going back home and telling me the story about that.
Yep.
So I did get the OG, and it's not far, guys. It's just right here. It's just right here. Christian's always going to be in my heart. It doesn't, just because he's playing for Chelsea next year doesn't mean I can't still love the guy. Just I can't love him when he's playing us. That's it. So sad days. And then I think that's everybody for Smalling. So let's go ahead and move on to Phil Jones, who we did talk about a lot today in a very positive way. And guys, I will say this. I know we talked about it on another stream, but it is sad how aware Phil Jones is of how much people don't like him. The fact that he was asked about his testimonial, and he said that why would he have a testimonial when only his mom and dad would show up? And he said he didn't even know if his mom and dad would show up. That is sad stuff.
It's one of the funniest things I've heard. Like, at least he actually knows that he's a meme.
Like,
at least he embraces it. That's some kind of positive.
That right there makes me want to go to his testimonial all the more if he ever actually does have one.
There'll be more people turning up, ironically, than actually want to see a football game.
Yeah.
That's the sad state of affairs.
Can we just all have, like, everybody in the crowd have, like, different Phil Jones faces for masks? I think that's the real thing we should do, Matthew.
Oh, even better. We all have, like, the big sort of like sheets of paper or whatever, and we hold up and it just makes a Phil Jones face.
I would love it, man.
Dortmund and the yellow wall, they have the sort of, stadium art. Just have that for Phil Jones. Each stand has a Phil Jones. The stands can have him, like trying to head the ball when it's on the ground. The stand can have him, absolutely throwing himself into the VAR thing.
Yeah.
I think that was last season at the Cup. Obviously, that iconic Phil Jones face. And then another one can be, no idea, just any other Phil Jones face. I mean, if that doesn't happen, then, they're missing a trick.
Yeah, they are missing an opportunity there. But, I mean, Matthew, how do you rate Phil Jones today?
You know what? As much stick as I get Phil Jones, he was an absolute sunboy supper today. I didn't really see him do too much wrong, even though Watford was so good. It's a weird one, but yeah, Phil Jones, I give him a 7 out of 10, maybe even an 8. But I think 7's probably a safe score.
Believe it or not, Matthew, I was going to give him an 8. Because I felt like, really watching his game today, he made quite a few really, really good tackles. And then add in the fact that he did play the ball around very well today. He basically did come in and replaced Victor Lindelof for a game like this decently well. So I'm going to be a little bit more generous for Phil, and I'm going to give him an 8. I really like the game he played today, and ultimately, he was not at fault for anything bad that happened today. So, give him that much at least. Charlie, just so you know, I have, and I know Matthew has seen the leaked kit, and it is it is a yikes.
Atrocious.
It is a yikes for me.
I've seen some people saying, "Oh, I love the simplicity," and it's simple, just like United should be. And I mean, fuck off. to put it politely.
Where are the kits like this, Matthew? Like, give me kits back like this.
Exactly. Like, Man United is red and white and a hint of navy and a hint of black. Not red and black. Like, I can maybe accept 1 or 2 kits here and there. But next season's kit, I mean, if you've not seen it, it's almost entirely red.
With this is black.
Yeah, like, and there's a big thing around the badge, and what it looks like is, like, don't get me wrong, it's a simple design, and I love simple designs, but it's not a Man United kit. It looks like a sort of knockoff kit that you get from some kind of cheap Turkish,
like that you get in like Mexico or somewhere with like just a random shop.
Yeah, it's like when you pick up fake Beats earphones, and it's like, yeah, it kind of looks like one, but you're getting it for about £5, and you wonder why. It just doesn't look like a real kit. But the fact that it's actually comes from Footy Headlines, which if people don't know are pretty much spot on with absolutely everything. Just incredibly worrying. However, I've apparently heard that it's a first draft, so it's not a final one.
Well, hopefully all the negative criticism of it will make people truly question what to do with it. But Pegaz, have a good night's sleep, man. But
I'm not sure if we've seen the away kit or not. I think it's either the away one or the third one. It's black, but it's got this kind of orange badge and Adidas logo. Basically, it's like watching Memphis play for United again. That's what it reminds me of. It's like Louis van Gaal's second season, that black kit.
See, I actually didn't mind that black kit.
I hated it.
I actually bought that black kit.
I don't even think I bought a kit that year. Oh no, I bought the home one because it was somewhat nice, but
that was the one with the honeycombs going down the center.
Oh no, that was Mourinho's first season when Pogba was out.
Oh no! What was that? What was the red kit that year then? Oh, it had the white right here.
Yeah, it was white, but it was like very thick white.
Yeah, now I remember.
In hindsight, it looked horrible, but at the time, it wasn't too bad. But yeah, just when I thought, this season's kits were bad enough, they've absolutely outdone themselves. But to be fair, I know we're going off topic here. At least it's not Inter Milan's kit.
Very fair.
And 2020 kit, and it's the worst kit I've ever seen.
Yeah, listen, we have horrible kits next year if those are the real kits. But damn, like Inter Milan's was pretty bad.
I'll tell you what, for my posters, I need good kits. I need good kits.
You do. You might have to do some custom editing.
The future of my business relies on the design team at Adidas and Puma. So, help a boy out.
But sorry, guys. Let's get to your guys' ratings of Phil Jones. So Charlie did say Jones 7. Pankaj said 8. Saban said 8. Danny Ogden said 7. Mo said Quagmire gets an 8. Pink Boots Face said Saban. Let's see here. And then I think that's it. Have you seen the International Championship Cup fixtures for United? Inter Milan, AC Milan, and Tottenham. Oh, that's cool, Charlie. I didn't see that yet. No.
The two kits up against each other. Oh no. Man United against AC Inter Milan. It's going to be who's got the worst kit.
I mean, hopefully we're still playing in last year's kits. So we'll just go with that. Jake, good to see you, man. Let's see. And then Superboy did say Jones gets an 8. So let's go ahead, Matthew. Let's try. We'll start and try to pick up the speed here a little bit. But however, talking about this guy, we might need a little bit more time because for me, Luke Shaw was man of the match today. How do you rate Luke Shaw?
Yeah, I don't really think you can give man of the match to anyone else, really. I mean, if it was just the first half speaking, I'd probably give it to Rashford. But yeah, Luke Shaw across the whole 90 minutes. just didn't really think he did much wrong apart from that final ball. That I mean, he just tapped the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what play I'm talking about? It's quite early on in the game. I think it was before he scored the goal. But yeah, apart from that, he was just constantly running up and down, playing some good passes. That assist alone puts up his rating another 1 or 2 points.
Yeah.
And defensively, again, he just seems to have improved so much defensively under Rowley, which again is just actually quite refreshing to see. So yeah, Luke Shaw for me. I mean, I'd give him one rating higher than Jones, depending on what your rating for him was. So for me, it would be an 8. For you, it would be a 9.
And funny enough, that's exactly what I was going to give him. Is I was going to give Luke Shaw a 9. I just thought remove the comment for Jake. It's unsightly. Sorry guys.
Not sure what comment you mean.
So Matthew, it's because the the new chat thing. You have a live chat and a top chat. So somebody did say some very unsightly stuff named Jake Herbert, but that's okay. We ignore people like that. So bye. But let's go ahead. But Matthew, that like we said earlier, just curious. So I did see J Hart. I did see it after that, but Marcus, I'm just curious. Did you see it as well, Marcus? If you could respond to me and let me know, or just DM me. I don't mind either way. Because like I did not see that comment because I have something called Top Chat on.
Yeah, you basically just click and let the option thing and search live chat.
Yeah,
it's kind of unfiltered version, but yeah, I didn't see it.
But Matthew, I will copy that. I took a picture of it and I'll send it to you after the show.
No worries. It's not important.
But yeah, I removed the user. I hit him on the channel. So I'm I will say this. I just feel bad for people that feel like they have to do that. That's all.
It's a shame because he DM'd us, being really nice and stuff. But yeah, whatever.
Let's see here. So the assist. I'm sorry, I was trying to remember where we were at. So that assist from Luke Shaw, that's literally the stuff that dream passes are made of. Like to put a ball that perfectly weighted into Marcus Rashford, who literally was just able to run onto it, took one touch, and then was able to just chip barely over the keeper. You can't ask for much more than that.
I mean, if that was Iniesta playing that ball to like a Neymar or a Messi or whatever, everyone would be talking about it.
You're not wrong.
But yeah, unbelievable assist.
But let's go ahead and let's read out the ratings for what you guys said. So Saban said Shaw 9. Mo said Luke 9. Superboy said Shaw 9, absolutely brilliant. Charlie said Shaw 8.75. Let's see here. Charlie did say Shaw has recovered well from that broken leg. I thought I would never see him in a United kit again. Charlie, I would say a lot of people would probably say that. Let's see here. We need a song for Shaw, said Superboy. I don't think we want to do that yet. Who needs Sandro or Shaw? Rose, we've got freaking Shaw. Yeah. Listen, I think I'm losing my eyesight now. Marcus, you're all good, man. You're all good. I'll talk to you about it later. But we're gonna officially move on. So I don't see anybody else for Luke Shaw. So Matthew, let's go ahead. Let's move on up the pitch to somebody that I felt like probably deserves a very similar rating to Ashley Young. Nemanja Matic, how do you rate him today?
Oh boy. Oh, Nemanja Matic. I'd probably say it was his worst game. Like that first half, it was the stuff of nightmares. Every single thing that you want in a defensive midfielder, he just failed at so badly. Like he had no agility. Every single time you get in the ball, like Ash was commenting on it a lot. He was like, right, let's see how long it's going to take Matic. See how many touches it's going to be. And it was always like one touch. Well, not past it yet. 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch, 5 touch. and then he finally, actually manages to change direction. It was just an awful game from him. I think if I gave Asher Young a 4, I'd have to give Matic a 3. But I'm not sure if that's too harsh or not. Because I didn't see him doing anything good. Or anything that's majorly noteworthy.
So Matthew, I don't know. With Matic, that's the thing, is it's hard because sometimes he just does some things in games where you're like, okay, why can't we have that Matic all the time?
Oh yeah.
He'll have times where he'll break up the play well. He'll play 1-2s with people, and he does well. But then there's times where you're just like, why is the Mourinho Matic back? Why? So today was definitely a lot more Mourinho Matic than it was Ollie Matic. I will say that. So for me, I'm going to give Matic I'm going to give him a 4-2. I'm going to give him a 4-2. I just think that overall, what he did today, it left you wanting more from the CDM position. And we've talked about it a lot on this channel that we do need a new CDM. We do need a new CDM. And I just think that this is basically verifying what we've talked about, is the fact that we need somebody to replace Nemanja Matic. I don't know who that is, but we do need somebody to replace him. But let's go ahead. Let's read out how you guys rate Nemanja Matic today. I'd love to hear what you guys think. So Charlie did say Matic 5. Saban said Matic 4. Charlie said Matic was below average. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. How many more games can we be the worst? It can be the worst game for Matic. JR, that wasn't his worst game by any means. I'll say that, but it definitely wasn't a good one. That's for sure. Superboy said Matic 4. Mo said Matic was worse than Young 4. Nikki, yes, Ollie is at the wheel, baby. We do love Ollie. Mo said, and then we got some people commenting on the CDM to replace Matic, which I would love Ruben Neves. That I would. I don't know if I've made that clear enough on this channel. But
wait, you want Ruben Neves?
I do want Ruben Neves. The things I would do to get him too are pretty scary.
Wow.
Yeah. Yikes. But we out here in 2019, Matthew.
I mean, that's true.
Mr. Exclusive, good to see you, bro. Good to see you.
Morning.
You maybe want Neves. So, Mo, I'm telling you, Ruben Neves is the guy. He is the guy. I would take any good CDM to come in and replace Matic, because I think that Matic at this stage in his career, at least for Manchester United, should be nothing more than a backup. But that's my personal opinion. But Matthew, let's go ahead. Let's move up a little bit more. Let's move on. Let's do Herrera first. Because Herrera really didn't have a good game today. But I don't know if it's because he's still working his way back from injury. I don't really know what it is, but he just didn't look like the Ander Herrera that has been playing for Ollie. I mean, what did you make of it?
Well, yes, it's pretty much exactly what I said earlier on the stream. It just wasn't Herrera. It was like someone decided to put on a Herrera costume, and just didn't show anything that we've seen him for. I think it was a very poor performance, but it wasn't quite Matic level.
No.
But I think when you compare expectations of a player compared to how he did in reality, Herrera was probably the most disappointing today. Especially in that first 15 minutes, he was just simply awful then.
Yeah.
But for the whole game, just didn't really get going whatsoever. Again, in the first 15 minutes, we were using him a lot in the build-up, and it just seemed to have, fizzed out as soon as the ball went to him because his passing was just awful. Yeah. And then since that, he didn't really get too involved. So, I mean, it was just a day to forget from him, really. So in terms of rating, I'd probably give him a 5 in terms of the overall game, more because it was just a quiet game from him than anything. But in terms of, when he actually had the ball, when, attacks were going through him, you can't give him anything more than a 4. So, again, I don't like giving half ratings, but 4.5. Just thought he was so poor today.
So, Matthew, here's an interesting question for you. And I know we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but I think it's worthy of letting everybody else getting in on the conversation. Do you think we should start seeing Ander Herrera start at the CDM position and then bring in the likes of either Pereira or Fred to play in that box-to-box role? Or do you think that we just need to keep rolling with what we've got?
I mean, Herrera, he's to be fair, anyone's an upgrade to Matic at this point. Herrera's actually, he's not incredibly quick, but he's got a bit of pace about him. He's that kind of, tenacious little shit in your midfield, really. He's just going to bully the other players. He's going to win the ball back and just distribute it. And to be fair, like sometimes he does go a lot. He does go forward quite a lot, which you can't really expect to get from a lone CDM. But I'd rather risk that or sacrifice that and make use of his ball winning attributes than continue to play Matic shit. So, for the rest of the season, I'd probably start Herrera in the DM position or Fred, one of those two players. And then the other player would start as the other midfielder.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I'd kind of like to see Fred play as the defensive midfielder because he seems like someone who's going to break the opponent's press. Like opponents sometimes, occasionally press quite high up with their forwards specifically.
Yeah.
Especially when we get the ball to our centre-backs because they know that, Lindelof aside, our team is quite nervous on the ball. So having that quick, small player who's going to, dribble around the sort of big pressing forwards is probably what you kind of want to see from a midfielder, given how teams set up against us.
Mm.
So for me, I'd start Fred there. But at the same time, he's not really had too many games, and it might be a little bit of a risk going into the home stretch of the season. So, I mean, you could probably make a case for anyone starting over Matic, whether that would be Pereira, Pogba, Fred, Herrera. Any of those 4 should be starting.
So, Drotty, good to see you in here, man. It's really good to see you in here. I'm happy you're out on holiday, bro. I hope you're relaxing. I hope you're having a good time relaxing. But we'll get to Pogba in just a second. But yeah, Matthew, I do get where you're coming from with the thought of putting Fred in that CDM position. And a lot of people have talked about where would be his best position. I could actually see Fred working out well as a CDM because of the style of play that we would bring. But ultimately, I would look at Fred and still look at the potential for another CDM to be brought in. That's the problem. Like, unless he came in and just as a CDM and just did absolutely, phenomenal things right off the bat, I would still be looking at a CDM to potentially replace whoever is going to be there next year. Because I just right now the only people that really have a safe position, like the only people that have safe positions really are, I would say, Rashford, Martial, Pogba, De Gea, Lindelof, and Shaw. I think those are the only people that truly have safe positions at Manchester United at the moment.
Kinda. I think if we're talking about, who we're going to sign this summer, my only issue with signing Ruben Neves, and don't get me wrong, I still sign him, is the fact that he's not really a ball winner. So you kind of need to have someone next to him who's going to win the ball back and then give it to Neves, who's then going to start the attacks. That's my only kind of issue with him. But yeah, I just want anyone starting over Matic. I just don't want to see him play again.
Yeah.
I'd probably start Scott McTominay or Fred there.
I would love to see Scott get another start. But let's go ahead and let's read out how you guys rate Herrera. So Charlie did say Herrera 6.5 average. Mo said Herrera subpar 5. Vandy said Matic's performance is key for effect it has on the rest of the team. He has been poor for 3 games now. Vandy, you're not wrong on that. So Danny said Herrera 5. Superboy said Herrera was below par 5. Saban said today was not my Mr. Passion 5. Other than that, I don't see anybody else with a rating. No, I do not. So let's go ahead, move on, and let's go to Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba really had a mixed bag today. because there was some things he did really well, but there was a lot of times he was also put in bad positions by teammates. There was one time in particular where I remember even saying it that Phil Jones kind of played Paul Pogba into losing the ball because there was really nowhere he could go with it. So, but overall, he didn't have a great game coming back from international break. How do you rate Paul Pogba?
Like we talk a lot about Rashford being in poor form and Martial not being in the best run of form and Lingard not being in the best form. But Pogba's not had a good game in ages.
Mm-hmm.
He started off like an absolute house on fire under I was going to say under Jose, definitely not under Ole, getting bags of goals, getting a few braces here and there, getting a goal against Chelsea. But we've just not seen anything.
Nope.
We've not seen a single thing from him. And again, I don't know what it is with him. Obviously those comments made in the international break
don't help.
They don't help his case whatsoever. I think most of us could kind of accept the fact that even though it might not be the worst thing he's ever said, he still doesn't need to say it.
No, you're not wrong.
I don't know what's up with the moment. To be fair, I think one or two of the most recent games, he's kind of had to, have his attacking play sacrificed. You can kind of understand that from a tactical point of view. But today, when he's playing again as the most advanced midfielder, when he's got Herrera and Matic behind him, you just actually want to see a bit more attacking intent. And apart from one really nice ball to, I've forgotten who it was.
I think it was Rashford.
It was either Rashford and I think it was Young who made an absolutely perfect first touch.
Yep, that was the other one.
He just didn't really do much. And you know what? We kind of have to be fair when judging that. Like when Wayne Rooney was in his last season, he would make a lot of those balls. And a lot of us were saying, well, it's all good doing that, but you need to do more. And the same thing applies to Pogba. It's all good making those nice passes, but we just want to see him get forward again. Getting forward into the box, taking shots and actually being a goal threat. Because he's probably one of our better finishers. But again, we've just not seen it in 5-6 weeks. So and it's just disappointing to me.
Matthew, here's a question for you. Because we've talked about it. It's all well and good to say that nobody should sell to Real Madrid. But Real Madrid come calling in the summer. They offer somewhere between 150 and 200 million for him. Do we give him up? Or let's say they offer like Toni Kroos and then they offer money on top of it.
Toni Kroos.
What's that?
He's just going to be a Matic. Toni Kroos is just going to be another Matic, another Sanchez. Someone who's, I think he's 30 years old now, or almost approaching 30. He's just going to be one of those players who will maybe do it for one season and then will be shipped off at a low price somewhere else.
Well, let's just say that 150 million, 200 million. Let's say that that's what the asking price is. They offer it in the summer. Would you take it?
I'd only take Pogba for money plus a player. So, for example, just say PSG come calling and they say, right, Paul, we want you for, let's just say, for example, a next Wednesday number, 200 million. I'd say, well, actually, you know what? I want 100 million plus Verratti. Because at least you're getting still that high caliber midfielder as part of a swap deal.
Yeah. I actually like that idea. The thought of Verratti is something that is good.
Yeah, Verratti's kind of he's sort of like an upgrade to Herrera. He's kind of, he's that tenacious midfielder, but he's actually passing, in terms of passing range, so much better than what Herrera is.
Yeah.
Who, to be fair, passing isn't his greatest aspect of his game. But then you could use that 100 million to get, maybe like Neves or Ndidi or some, good proper defensive midfielder like that. So that's what I'd do. If a team came calling and said, right, we want to buy Pogba for 200 million, just say, well, actually 100 million plus one of your star players. I'd say that and wouldn't sell him for just cash though, because there's no guarantee that you're going to get that, proper good established midfielder.
That's fair.
To be fair, Pogba, when he's on form, he's a star player. But he's just not on form at the moment. And you can see that with how badly we've been playing recently. It's a sort of case of if Pogba plays well, the whole team plays well. If Pogba doesn't play well, then we struggle.
Yeah.
I think indirectly relying on Pogba too much.
I was about to say, it is in at the same time, it is unfair to also have to rely solely on Paul Pogba.
If we had higher quality midfielders around him, we'd see something completely different.
I agree.
All the same midfielders playing to a high standard. That's why we did so well in all these first few games.
ultimately, what Mo just said of saying I'd only sell Pogba if he wants to go, I completely agree with that. I would never sell Paul Pogba just because a team comes calling for that much money. It would be that if Paul wants to go too.
Yeah. Because even though he's had bad games recently, he's still an amazing player. But we just need to see consistency from him.
Oh, you guys are getting the Arthur too. What a stream.
Oh, but here he is.
He's a good boy.
Look at that. He's done something that Paul Pogba didn't do today, and that's turn up.
That is true. But I mean, Matthew, I'll go real quick, and I'm going to read out people's ratings for him. So Danny said, Pogba, if Pogba wants to leave, let him go for a hefty fee. No player is above the club. I would love for him to stay, but if he wants to go, then let him go. And then he also said Pogba 6. So I mean, Danny, I basically couldn't echo your thoughts anymore. Perfect analogy right there. Mo said Pogba 6 might need a rest. I actually don't disagree with that. I do think that Paul Pogba might need a rest, but unfortunately we're reaching a point right now where we can't really let him have a rest. So what he should have done is he should have done what the rest of everybody did in the team and not gone on international break and said he was injured. That's what he should have done. But he didn't do it. He wanted to go play for France. And I mean, I get it. But at the same time, you know, it does kind of suck. It does, because we had so many players do that for the team. Saban said Pogba 4. Superboy said Pogba 6. Matt Marcus said Pogba was bad today. 4 for me. Charlie said Pogba 6. Vandy said Pogba 6. No way center mid can perform with Matic and the way Herrera was playing.
Yeah, that's true.
And I do agree.
I think most of us just want to see him further forward again.
Yeah.
Because he was playing so deep. Yeah, in all these first 10 games or whatever, I started thinking about it just there. He was kind of playing like a mixture of Frank Lampard and Iniesta in terms of he was getting goals, but at the same time he was kind of playing in those channels and actually setting up goals. But we've just not seen it for a while. I think the last really good game that he had was Fulham, where, you know, he scored a really nice goal. But apart from that, I've just not seen much.
No, we haven't.
And in this stage of the season, when top 4 fight is as tight as it is, you need your star players to step up.
And that's exactly what we need. And I realize now that I didn't give my Paul Pogba rating. So I'm going to give Paul Pogba a 6 because he did do some good things today. But when you consider the fact that he was basically having to make up for 2 midfielders underperforming today, it's hard. Because Paul Pogba is a world-class midfielder. Nobody can deny that. He might be the best midfielder in the world. But unfortunately, one midfielder can't do everything. He can't. So, I don't know. Like, it's a tough one, but I want the Paul Pogba back. I don't want just Paul Pogba back. I want the Paul Pogba back. The guy that was scoring goals, assisting like crazy, like doing things for Ollie that we were all like, this is the Paul Pogba we've been waiting to see. So I want that Paul Pogba back. But Matthew, let's go ahead. Let's move up the pitch. Let's go to Juan Mata, who I will say this, man, there was times where he was running up the pitch today, and I even made the comment, it's like, I think I can run faster than him. It literally looks like he's running in molasses when he's running nowadays. I mean, so how do you rate Juan Mata?
You know what? That would actually be funny to see. Me and you against him in a race. Because I don't think he's going to be much faster than us.
I don't think so, man.
He's so slow. Like, I mean, in next FIFA, if he doesn't have under 40 pace, and it's an absolute disgrace. And I feel sorry for him, obviously, because he's that kind of player who your legs are going to go easily. But it was just hilarious actually seeing him, you know, running down the left wing on the counter attack, and we were like, all right, this is going to last a fair while. Took him about 20 seconds to reach halfway line. But yeah, with Mata, he did some decent things. He did some decent things when he was in the midfield, or kind of playing as a number 10. But again, on the right wing, he's just useless. He's absolutely useless. And like me, you, Paul, and Ash were saying, we were watching the game on Skype. It doesn't matter that he's a nice guy. Like, it's good being a nice guy, and it's good, writing a blog, sending people hugs on a blog. If you don't do it on the pitch, then that's the most important thing. And I can't remember the last, really good game that he put in. I think against Chelsea, actually, if I remember correctly, he played, but he played as a false nine and actually played quite well.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I've not seen a game from him really this season.
Well, and they did try to mix it up. I remember that at halftime that we noticed that Mata went central.
Oh yeah, we tried to mix it up, but the issue is if you've got a number 10 there and then 3 midfielders behind you, that kind of sacrifices Pogba's abilities going forwards.
Yeah.
So it's kind of have a balance there. And given how much Mata slows down the play, it's just awkward to see more than anything, because you do feel sorry for him, but at the same time, I think next summer you've got to sell him. Or at least you've got to use them as a squad player at the absolute best.
Did Mata sign a new contract?
I think he did. I think it was like what Man United typically do is give people contracts and then give them an optional 1-year contract as an extension that they can trigger. And I think they've done that just to maybe get, a little bit of resale value.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I do think that this year should be his last year playing for Manchester United.
He's not signed it yet, but he'll probably sign it. Let's face it.
Like, it's a tough one, man. Doug, good to see you, man. Good to see you. But I do agree with you, man. That I just, it's sad because we do like Juan Mata, the human being. Like, Juan Mata, the human being, seems like the type of guy that if you were to see him on the street and be like, hey, Juan, can I get a picture or whatever? Not only would he stop and get a picture, but he'd probably stop and take you and try and go get you food and go talk with you for a bit. That seems like the type of guy Juan Mata is. Like, he would do anything for the fans or for the people, and that's a hard guy to let go. But as unfortunate as it is, like, you could just see it in the way that he runs. That, like, genuinely, like, what? So great example here, guys. Watch the way that Marcus Rashford ran today, and then watch the way that Juan Mata ran today. You're talking about Marcus might be double the speed of Juan Mata. And that's sad. That is really, really sad. But I'm going to give Juan Mata a 5 today. I mean, he didn't really do much to help, but didn't really do much to hurt either. So I'm going to go just barely below average. I don't know, man. Like, it's hard for me to hate on the guy because you could just see that his legs are gone. It sucks. It sucks.
Yeah, in terms of rating, I forgot to give him a rating. 5 out of 10 for me. Same goes for Pogba, to be honest.
Well, you did give Pogba a rating, by the way.
Did I?
Yeah, you gave him a 6.
Well, did I give him a 6?
You did originally give him a 6.
But 5 out of 10 from Pogba.
Okay.
No, that's a rating. But same goes for Mata as well. It's unfortunate to see, but got to be ruthless and just ship him off.
And that's what we need to do this summer is we need to be ruthless. We do need to be ruthless, and I hope that is what Ollie will do. Jay Hart said, saw it in the highlights. Mata was running like a rom-com movie, slow motion to the love of his life. Yeah, that's a pretty good description, man. But Saban said Mata 4. Superboy saying Mata needs to go, and that Mata's a part of Deadwood. Just let the man go. You forgot. I love him. Great person quote today. Mata 3. You forgot. He's saying forget the. Got it. Charlie said Mata 6, very average. Mo said Mata 6. He was decent after the first 15 minutes. Which, Mo, you're not wrong. Like, he did start to pick up, and his passing is always good. That's something we don't worry about with Mata is his passing. But overall, he wasn't good today. Superboy did say Mata 4. See here, I am not seeing anyone. Matt Marcus said I'm quicker than Mata. Yeah, Marcus, I don't doubt that whatsoever. You are a world-class right back from what I've heard. So, I mean, there's no surprises there. Mata shows a lot of solidarity to our fans, like against Norwich. He took a picture with a fan in 2015, 2016. Yeah, I mean, listen, like we said, Mata, the human being, it'll be a hard one to let go, but end of the day, you gotta, like, he can't just keep a guy because you like the person. He has to be a good footballer, because that's what Manchester United is supposed to be about, is football. So, Matthew, let's go ahead. Let's move on. Let's move on to Anthony Martial, who I actually thought overall had a pretty good game today. How are you going to rate him?
I'm going to disagree. I just thought he was static.
Well, you're talking about like how he kept stopping, right?
Oh, it annoys me so much. And again, like Pogba, we've just seen it so often recently. Don't know what it is with Martial. The thing is with Martial, right? We all know how talented he is, and we all know how good he can be. But he's just woefully inconsistent. One day he'll have a game where he just picks up the ball and he's on the left wing and just kind of stands there looking for his opponent to commit. But when his opponent doesn't commit, he doesn't really know what to do. But I think that's the biggest issue with Martial, and we kind of saw that today. I think it was obvious that Watford manager Gracia sort of set him up to say, right, don't be too risky with defending. Just make sure you're in a good shape. Make sure you've got men behind the ball and counter from there. Which just really didn't help Martial whatsoever. But there was that one good time where I think Martial gave the ball to Luke Shaw, who then absolutely fluffed his lines and really should have set up a goal for Rashford. But apart from that, he was just so frustrating to see. And yeah, he got a goal, which, capped off quite a nice move, and it was a shame that his back heel didn't go in. But apart from that, there was that chance where he took a shot. And yeah, to be fair, there was a few bodies around him, but he probably should have scored. If there's one person who you expect to actually score it's not Marcus Rashford at all. Anthony Martial. I just thought it just wasn't that great a game from him. I don't know if a 5 is too harsh, considering he actually scored a goal.
I think 5 would be way too harsh personally, but that's not what this is about. It's about your opinion.
Personally, I go for a 6 out of 10. I thought he just scraped a 6 with that purely because he got a goal.
And that
was down to the good bit of play before that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. The play before it led up to him being able to score, but at the same time, I mean, he did recover well to be able to score that goal. And it's obviously down with Martial that, like, it's a tactic. Like, and that's the rough part about all of this, is like you can see that he literally is like told to go to a point and then stop, because basically you notice him basically stop around the same point along the left wing every single time, and it's right around the 18-yard box on the far left-hand side. It's like he gets there and stops and waits for the ball, and it's frustrating to watch at times. But at the same time, I also know that's down to a tactic because of how often he does it. Like, because no manager is just gonna like be okay with a guy doing his own thing and then just stopping right there. Like, no manager will. So Tony did score a goal today. He did play well with Luke Shaw, which is something that we always notice, is that Tony and Luke really play off of each other very well. And Matthew, we did talk about it on the stream. There is one thing that Anthony Martial is very consistent with. There is. And it's liking them blonde white women. It's true.
I mean, you're not wrong with that.
It's that is his consistency right there. And listen, I'm not going to fault him for it either. He is at least consistent with that.
You can tell people were just born to do things. Martial was just born to be, absolute fanny magnet.
And he is the definition of a Frenchman. He reminds me of the old cartoon with Pepe Le Pew, that just he cannot resist the females, can he? Poor guy.
You see the people are trying to get that cancelled.
What?
Oh yeah, the state of people are today, trying to get everything cancelled. But yeah, apparently promotes harassment and stuff. I mean, it's a cartoon. Calm down.
Marcus, we're doing the drawing right at the end of the video. So for me, I'm going to give Tony a a 7.5. It probably would have been a 6 if it wasn't for him scoring, but him scoring really did him well. And I hope that will continue, because Tony really is a player that when he gets his confidence going, he starts scoring loads of goals.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully this goal right here will lead him into the next part. That's all I'm hoping for. But let's see here. So Saban said Martial 6. Charlie said Martial 7.5. Mo said Tony needs to step up 6 only because he scored. Vandy said Martial 6 only because he scored. We are being a bit harsh on Martial. He did good runs up the pitch, and that's the other thing too, Matthew. We did forget to mention that the Rashford goal was truly set up because of the fact that Tony did go hard down that left-hand line, and it made it so one defender wasn't able to be in the way of that pass.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, that run right there did open up Rashford to score. So I will give him that as well. Let's see here. He's been conditioned by Mourinho. Every time he sees the spot, he'll stop. I mean, Jay Hart, you might be right on that. You might be right. Oh, awesome, Saban. That's cool. So lastly, but not leastly, we talk about Marcus Rashford, who, in all honesty, if it wasn't for the game that Luke Shaw had, I would probably be giving Marcus Rashford man of the match. Matthew, how are you going to rate Marcus Rashford today?
I think it was like game of two halves for him. I know it's a big cliche, but it just was that. First half, fantastic. He was actually probably the only player who was actually making forward runs. And there was quite a few times that the ball would actually get to him, and it just looked like things were going to happen. But with his chances today, apart from that good chance that he put away, I thought he was again a little bit wasteful. But overall, I mean, he technically did win us the match, because I think he did well for that Martial goal. I don't think he directly set it up, but was contributing in the build-up and the creation of that chance.
Yep.
The way the first chance, or the first goal rather. So he was technically a match winner. So for that, I'd give him an 8 out of 10, sort of on par with Shaw. But because, I think if the game ended after the first half, then you say Rashford like 9 out of 10. But I think he did kind of tail off, was a little bit quieter in the second half. He was kind of playing on the right quite a lot in the second half as well, kind of swapping around with Martial, and I don't really think that helped him too much, especially with the lack of pace that Mata had.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I thought, again, it was a good game, and he's been on terrible form recently, so I think that goal and creating a second chance is going to hopefully actually give him confidence.
I mean, I do hope, that's the hope, is that, Rashford and Martial scoring today, I hope that really takes them off on their confidence, because we need them for this last final stretch. We need both of them, because we need the goals that they can contribute, and we need the bit of play that they can contribute. So Marcus Rashford to me today, like I said, if it wasn't for Luke Shaw, Rashford probably would have been man of the match. I'm going to give him an 8, and here's why. He made a lot of very good runs today. Runs that really disrupted the defense of Watford, and it made it so once we finally got our first counter and Rashford was able to kind of run between the lines, I actually saw Watford's line come back a little bit because they knew they couldn't be up as high as they were after that. That right there is something that is something really Rashford does well, is he makes it so the defense questions what they are able to do. So he also scored a great goal today. I mean, it was an even better assist, but to chip it over the keeper like that, I mean, I know for a fact that under Mourinho, he probably would have tried to bang that home from that far out, but he was smart with his finishing. And that's something also we have to give him credit for, is he made a very intelligent finish to just chip it right over the keeper. So let's go ahead and let's see what you guys have to say about Rashford. So Charlie did say Rashford 8, just doing what Rashford does. Mo said Rashford was good, so I'm going to give him an 8. Saban said Rashford 8. And it looks like that is going to be everybody. So, I mean, Matthew, the subs, like Lingard did have the assist. So, I mean, do you think maybe we should talk about Lingard? Or do you just want to give him an overall, just give him a rating? Matthew's muted.
Oh boy, it's 2 streams in a row now.
It's
2 streams in a row.
It could be worse, man.
I was even looking at my screen as well. I was looking at the screen. I should have saw the mute symbol. Again, not my finest performance. But I'm going to make a confession. I didn't really see much of the second part of the second half. So I can't really give a Lingard a rating. But if you want to, then go ahead.
I mean, he got an assist today. He came on. He made some decent runs. I'd say he deserves to be above an average rating. So 7 sounds like something that'd be fair.
Can't argue with that.
Luke Shaw had some harsh words for this teammates after Watford win. I'm actually going to be interested to read that article. But, I mean, Lingard, I mean, he did what he does. And then Pereira, I mean, he really didn't do much. And then Rojo obviously was just coming on to seal up the defense, which, funny enough, Rojo came on and we gave up a goal. So, yeah, funny enough. But, guys, you know what? That's it. So let's go ahead and first let's do our shout outs, and then we'll do the drawing at the very end. So Matthew, thank you very much for joining me today, my friend. I mean, I noticed you got a new poster up over here. Is there anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, that's my That Night in Paris poster. It's been doing quite well. I think it's my second top seller with 10 sales so far, which is quite nice. And also, every single poster that is somewhat relevant to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, so that's 5 posters in total up in the store, is 25% off for about the next 7 or 8 days. So if you want to get yourself a print, then get in there pretty quickly because it's on sale, and who doesn't love a sale?
It's true. Everybody loves a sale. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Mo, my bad. Ollie deserves a rating today, Matthew.
Right. Ollie. I saw that starting lineup, and I thought, that's a weird one. Mata starting again, and for a lot of that game on the right wing. The Chuckle brothers starting in defence, which, to be fair, like you can understand because the other sort of reinforcements weren't available.
Yeah.
I don't know what our tactics were today. That's my issue.
Yeah.
You won the game, and you've got to give them credit for that. But if someone was to say, what was the intentions of the team, I wouldn't really be able to answer that. So really, I mean, I give Ole a 7, but that's what given that at the most.
And that's so. Here's the thing too to think about is he did make the proper subs because when Pereira and Lingard came on, I actually did notice a change in the team. So, I mean, I'm going to give Ollie a 7. It wasn't the greatest game from him tactically. I mean, we've obviously seen better, but I mean, first game back from the international break. I mean, he did just sign his full-time contract. Maybe the players kind of like what Ash and Paul were talking about. Maybe the players got a little bit of a lax mentality because now he's officially the manager. But I'm hoping that this will be also a wake-up call for him that, hey, you know what? Yeah, just because he's the full-time manager doesn't mean you should just relax now. So that's just me. So then real quick, so I'll read what you guys said. So Saban said Ollie 7. Charlie said wasn't the best performance, but we got 3 points and we go again. Ollie 8, made the right substitutions apart from Rojo. Mo said we won, but we were shit, so Ollie 6. Bandy said Ollie 6. Mata on right wing again, and Matic is undroppable as always. Yeah, I get where you guys are coming from. But, you know, ultimately, end of the day, we won. So you kind of have to give a little bit of an extra point for that, in my opinion. But, I mean, that's what we love about this show. That's what we love here is that we love an opinion. So, but guys, go buy yourself a Matthew McFadden poster. Just go do it. And lastly, but not leastly, for the show, we got to do a drawing. So I've got a name randomizer here. And I am going to go ahead and I got to get to it. I'm sorry, guys. There it is. So
Marcus Winters and this absolutely fixed. If Marcus Winters redo the draw just to piss him off.
So let me just go ahead. I got to get on my phone too, so that way I could get confirmation that you guys can see who won. But just click go, and the winner is. I don't know if you guys are able to see this very well. Jay Hart.
Oh boy.
Jay Hart. I just want to try and zoom in a little bit here. There we go. Jay Hart. Jay Hart is our winner.
I mean,
So,
it wasn't like too big then.
I mean, Jay Hart, congratulations, man. You have won your choice of a t-shirt of the team that you want, or you can also get a Matthew McFadden poster. Either or. Either or. Mo said on sub. Damn it, Mo. Damn it. Don't do it. Don't leave. But, guys, genuinely, congratulations to Jay Hart. And what I will say, too, is when we get to 1,000 subs, I will be doing a kit giveaway for any team. It could be a retro kit. It can be any kind of kit for any team, NFL, NBA, MLS, Premier League, whatever you want, you can get it. You could get it. But Hardy ain't even subbed. Mad Marcus, we know that's not true. We know that's not true. But congratulations to Jay Hart. Jay Hart, reach out to me, please, on the Instagram. No, not on the Instagram. On Twitter, please reach out to me. I'll get some confirmations from you about what you want. But congratulations, Jay Hart. Happy that somebody won that's a fan instead of it seeming like it's rigged with Matthew McFadden winning. But
to be fair, I've got the t-shirt, so
it's true. You at least didn't get it for yourself. That is true.
Yeah.
So I will give you that. But genuinely, ladies and gentlemen, just thank you for joining us. And I hope that if you guys liked it, you'll drop a like, share it if you really like it. We'd love to get some more subscribers here, but just genuinely thank you to everybody that watched. And I really do hope that you all have a great night, a great day, wherever you're at and whatever you're doing. Keep doing you, because I love you guys, and you guys are awesome. We'll catch you later.